Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a deeply moving story that absolutely proves football chants are far, far more than just random stadium noise. We often think of football crowds as just these roaring masses, right? Well, today, we're unpacking how a specific group of fans took a super catchy pop tune and totally transformed it into this incredible vehicle for community, identity, and eventually, a profoundly emotional legacy.
To set the scene, we're starting with international superstar Gerard Piqué. He tweeted this right after a November 2012 Champions League match. And listen, this wasn't just your run-of-the-mill game. This was the night 55,000 Celtic fans completely stunned the visiting Barcelona team and the Spanish press by doing something wild. They turned their backs to the pitch, locked arms shoulder to shoulder, and started doing this synchronized jumping huddle, all while absolutely belting out a 1980s pop song. The sheer volume and communal energy were so overwhelming that Piqué literally had to pull out his phone the second he left the stadium, just to tell the world about it.
But that really begs the question, doesn't it? How does a catchy, synthesizer-heavy tune transform into a profound symbol of unity? Because, let's be real, it doesn't just happen overnight. Going from a radio hit to a sacred stadium anthem requires a very specific kind of fan culture. We're talking about a culture that treats their club not just as a sports team they watch on weekends, but as a deeply ingrained way of life.
Okay, let's move on to Section 1, Millwall versus Celtic. To really understand this, we have to look at the stark contrast between two very different footballing cultures. On one side, you've got Millwall. They're historically rooted in an economically deprived area of London with a notoriously tough, aggressive reputation. And their fans lean hard into that outsider status. Their famous chant, "No one likes us, we don't care," acts like a shield. But on the flip side, you have Celtic. Founded way back in the 1880s to help impoverished Irish Catholic immigrants in Glasgow, their entire foundation is built on charity and inclusion. Their foundational anthem, "You'll Never Walk Alone," is basically a pledge of unwavering community support.
It's actually fascinating when you dig into the rhetoric behind these chants. Fans are unconsciously using some seriously sophisticated devices. When 50,000 people are singing together in unison, they aren't just making noise, they're actively communicating their collective values using complex literary structures. It's like a massive, living poem.
Let's break this down a bit. The crucial difference here really lies in the intent. Millwall uses something called antinagoge, which basically means turning a negative into a positive, and they couple that with repetition to defend against their chaotic reputation. They embrace the negativity to show they simply can't be broken. Celtic, however, leans heavily on metaphor and pathos. When Celtic fans sing "Slip and Slide and We Fall in Love," they obviously aren't talking about romance. They're using a metaphor to solidify this unbreakable emotional bond with their stadium, Celtic Park, establishing it as their ultimate welcoming home.
All right, let's jump into Section 2, Synth Pop meets Football.
Tracing this song's specific journey is so cool. We see it jump from a classic 1981 synth-pop hit by Depeche Mode straight to the Celtic stands. Back in 2010, an ultra fan group known as the Green Brigade decided they wanted their own unique song, instead of just recycling tunes from other clubs. They adopted Just Can't Get Enough, and let me tell you, it caught on like wildfire. The stadium announcers even started playing it over the loudspeakers to crank up the atmosphere. By 2011, the raw energy of the chant was so massive that it crossed the border into England, getting picked up by fans of Liverpool FC.
Get this, the late Andy Fletcher, Depeche Mode's keyboardist, who was actually a massive Chelsea fan himself, was incredibly flattered by the creativity and passion of the Celtic supporters. He talked about how breathtaking it was to see that kind of enthusiasm in the stands. And the part I love most, he was specifically impressed that these massive crowds actually took the time to learn the entire song, not just the chorus.
And it didn't stop there. This pop culture phenomenon proved to be so infectious that fans of other clubs, and even entirely different sports, started writing their own custom verses. Over at Liverpool, fans tweaked the lyrics to honor their star striker at the time, Luis Suarez. And all the way across the Atlantic, college hockey fans at Salve Regina University adapted it for their player, Ross Mawerman. It essentially became the ultimate template for sporting celebration everywhere.
Which brings us to the really heart of our explainer. Section 3. The Ty Tim's Story.
See, this song isn't just about the joy of sports. It holds a deeply, deeply emotional legacy. The Good Child Foundation was started in rural Thailand by Paul Lennon and his wife Pun after their son, Bernie, was born with Down syndrome.
Paul was absolutely determined to help children who were being excluded from mainstream education, so he got creative. He used the rhythm and repetition of Celtic football chants to actually teach them English. These amazing kids affectionately became known as the Thai Tims. They racked up millions of viral views online, totally capturing the hearts of the global Celtic community, and even earned a trip to Scotland to perform right on the pitch at Celtic Park.
Now, the bond between the charity and the football club was unfortunately cemented through tragedy as well as love. In 2010, a 19-year-old Celtic fan named Riamon Gormley volunteered at the foundation and instantly won the children's hearts. But in a heartbreaking turn of events the very next year, Riamon was tragically murdered in a street robbery back in Scotland. To honor him, the Thai Tims recorded a special charity version of Just Can't Get Enough. And compounding that sadness, recent news from 2026 confirmed that the foundation's incredible founder, Paul Lennon, was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, which sparked massive fundraising efforts from the football community he so dearly loved.
But look at what this simple football chant achieved. It created something completely tangible and lasting. The funds raised from the Thai Tims charity single went on to build a permanent safe haven. The Riamon Gormley Memorial Hall, painted proudly in Celtic signature green and white, stands in Thailand today. It's a real place for these children to learn, to perform music, and above all, to be safe.
When the children sang these customized lyrics, they transformed a catchy pop track into an everlasting emotional tribute to the people they lost. By weaving the names of legendary Celtic figures like Jinky Johnston and Tommy Burns right alongside their beloved volunteer Riamon, the song totally transcended football. It became a hymn of remembrance and endless love.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 4, an everlasting global anthem.
Fast forward to 2022. The prominent Spanish publication 90 Men in Español decided to rank the greatest stadium atmospheres. And guess what? They voted the Celtic fans' rendition of Just Can't Get Enough as the absolute #1 football chant in the entire world.
Just think about who they beat for a second. Beating out some of the wealthiest and most historic clubs globally is a massive testament to the raw, unmatched energy of this specific anthem. It topped the iconic You'll Never Walk Alone, it beat out the global mega-hit Seven Nation Army, and it even surpassed the official anthems of absolute giants like River Plate in Argentina and Real Madrid in Spain. That is no small feat.
The publication noted exactly why this song took the top spot, and they hit the nail on the head. It isn't just sung by a tiny group of ultra fans in one corner. It infects all 55,000 people. It turns the entire stadium into this moving, living entity of pure joy. It demands participation. When that synthesizer beat drops, nobody stands still.
So what's the ultimate takeaway from today's explainer? It's that these chants are the absolute lifeblood of a community. And if you want to build this kind of profound unity in your own organization or community, there are 3 clear steps you can apply right now. First, find a shared, simple rhythm. Second, tie it to a deeply meaningful emotional cause. And third, demand total, active participation from everyone involved. It really leaves us to wonder, if a simple pop song can do all this, what song holds that kind of transformative power in your own world? Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.